Hi, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Wonder Snatch. Today's going to be part 3 of my hair series, alright? And today I'm going to talk about hair in pop culture, particularly movies and film. And to go with this video, I'm going to do a Tayce-inspired video, okay, to serve inches of hair, reminiscent of something like Hair the Musical, okay, in a nude illusion. And if that's something you want to see, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and ring that bell for post notifications so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, let's get started. Alright, all prepped. So today I'm going to be doing this Tayce-inspired look. Okay, so Tayce, Tayce is actually quite short, so whenever she wears these long human hair units, I don't think they're that long. I think on me, it's probably going to reach up to there. But, I've got this 60-incher that I'm going to try to rock today, okay? And I'm going to go for a classic Tayce look, okay? So she's got very chiseled cheekbones and a very intense white underbrow. And to go with that, I'm going to talk about hair-related movies and stuff, okay? I love movies. I'm a huge movie buff, okay? But I'm a little bit selective, okay? I'm a little bit nerdy in the kind of movies that I like to watch. I like musicals, horror, science fiction, superheroes, all that kind of stuff, okay? So I'm just going to break it up into those kind of categories, okay? And since we're going to do a hair-inspired look because of the nude illusion, I'm going to start talking about movie musicals, okay? Musicals to do with hair. And of course, we start off with hair. Okay, let's just prime with my milk. And my nose is still sweaty. I don't know why my nose goes in and out of this sweatiness. Okay, I got my sideburns too, so it doesn't peek through the blonde wig that I'm wearing later. Okay, I'm gonna go in with a whole bunch of liquid foundation today. Dream Urban Cover in Porcelain, Juvia's Place in Marisol, okay, and with a base of Makeup Forever in Y225. Okay, so Hair the Musical, okay? So Hair was originally a musical on Broadway, okay, in 1960s, okay? It was written during the time of the Vietnam War, and it was basically about the counterculture movement during the Vietnam War, the anti-war protesters, the hippies, and a lot of the rise of the social issues of that era, okay? And Hair itself, during this musical, was a metaphor for all these things, okay? When people went to the army, they had to cut their hair. It was kind of like a stripping of their identity. Hair was used to talk about race a lot, okay? The different types of hairstyles during that time and what was acceptable, okay? So between white people and black people, around this time was, of course, the Black Panthers were a huge thing, the Black Power movement. And a lot of people started wearing their natural hair, such as afros. And the Broadway musical was really iconic because at the time, in the 60s, there was a scene where everybody ends up on stage naked, okay? Completely naked, so it's very scandalous at the time. Wearing nothing but their hair. It was made into a movie musical in 1979. So of course, this also touched on some of the themes of the sexual revolution around that time as well. It was revived on Broadway in 2009. Okay, and I think they also tried to do the new thing also, okay, to honor the original staging. Of course, it's a lot less scandalous this time around, but of course, it still garnered a lot of attention. Basically, it's got all these really famous songs like The Age of Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In, Chisel Out My Face with some Guinea by Juvia's Place. Okay, so instead of just my usual, I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. Ooh, there's too much. Try to fix it. In 1969, it was nominated for Best Musical, but it didn't win. But the revival did win Best Revival of a Musical in 2009. So hooray for that. And it also won a Drama Desk Award as well. And then Gavin Creel was in this production. Okay, Gavin Creel is one of my favorite Broadway actors. Okay, this is a lot more than I usually contour. We need to reinforce that highlight down the nose. And also pop on some concealer. Snatch that nose a little bit more. Using the Alabaster. Nose is not cooperating today. Okay, I'm just gonna try to fix that and I'll be right back. Alright, I've set my face, I've drawn on my Tayce brows as well. Okay, and really went in with a white underneath. Okay, my nose is still super patchy. We'll try to camouflage that with some contour. Okay, so a bit warmer tones today. Going in with my Anastasia contour, snatch it up and bring it down. Second on my list here is actually Hairspray. Okay, Hairspray, John Waters' classic. Okay, the original movie of Ricki Lake and the drag queen Divine playing Tracy Turnblad's mother, Edna Turnblad. Iconic role, okay? Remade a musical in 2002, okay, with amazing songs by Mark Shaman, okay? What was my favorite musical for a very, very, very long time. Okay, I loved Hairspray. Okay, the songs are amazing. Also about the same time as Hair, but this time talking about segregation in schools, okay, and racial segregation and how Tracy Turnblad, a Zaftig, they always call her a Zaftig girl, which means plus-sized, girl who loves to dance, gets on the Connie Collins show and tries to promote diversity and inclusion of her African American friends. Beautiful, beautiful songs. You Can't Stop the Beat, one of my favorite songs. The last episode of Drag Race, they had RuPaul's song Lucky, I think draws on a lot of inspiration from Hairspray style songs, okay? Like these kind of a rock and roll beach party songs. Sculpting the face and then bringing the contour a lot lower today. Okay, so it looks like, ooh, tastes like. Okay, let's contour the nose too. So Hairspray also has a lot of themes of body positivity. The main character, Tracy Turnblad, is, as I mentioned, is overweight. So there's it really opens up the roles for a lot of Broadway actors and actresses who might not be the perfect white, thin stereotype, right? Okay, it allows plus-size actors, African-American actors to have all these really amazing roles with beautiful songs. The nose is not cooperating today at all. They even did a Hairspray live at some point on TV. That was actually one of the better live musical performances. And apparently, according to Wikipedia, there was going to be a Hairspray 2, White Lipstick, about the British invasion and the Vietnam War. But I think that might have been a little bit too similar to Hair, so I think they scrapped it. But that would have been quite interesting. Alright, so I'm just going to fix his nose and I'll be right back. Whew. Today is not a good makeup day. But this is already actually the second time I'm attempting this look. Okay, let's lay down some translucent powder here and start in the eyes. Alright, so those were Hair and Hairspray. Next on list, still in the musical category, is Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd, every time I watch Sweeney Todd, I'm reminded of how much this musical has to do with hair. Okay, Sweeney Todd himself is a barber, the demon barber of Fleet Street, and he cuts hair for a living. Okay, he's sent away by a corrupt official for some trumped up charges just so that he can get to his daughter. Okay, and the daughter, a bit of a pedophilic themes here, was actually really young at the time, caused his wife to kill herself, adopted the daughter, and waited until she was of age so that he could marry her. Really, really twisted and everything. And to get revenge, Sweeney Todd goes around killing people to try to get to this magistrate, and in the end, of course, tries to kill him as well. I mean, in the end, everybody dies, okay? But it's a really big move about hair, okay? How barbers are basically a service, okay, to help men get women, okay? Because all these men come to get... This is just too much powder already today. Okay, gotta work fast. My nose is flying off. Okay, today we're going into bare necessities. Let's start off with Hustler. Yeah, so basically, Sweeney Todd, as a barber, his connection to the official was that the official would come to him to get nice and cleanly shaven to woo Sweeney Todd's daughter. Quite disturbing, okay? And there's even this whole scene where Sweeney Todd has a competition, a shaving competition with Pirelli, who makes an elixir for hair growth. All these snake oil and hair growth solutions is still a big thing nowadays. I thought it was really interesting. And also at the end, when Joanna, his daughter, gets sent to the mental institution, they get access to her because they have to cut the hairs of inmates to sell for wigs. It really centers around hair, okay, and its importance during these Victorian times. And of course, it's a really good musical with lots of great music. One of my favorite songs of all time is A Little Priest, sung by Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd. And of course, this was also made into a movie musical by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, which was a travesty, okay? Neither of them could sing, okay? Helena Bonham Carter was so dead in the role. And you should go to YouTube and watch a few videos of Patti LuPone doing Mrs. Lovett, okay? It's perfect, okay? Perfect drag character as well. Worst Pies in London. Iconic. Okay, so that transition shade is down, going in the warmer color called Hot. Hot. Bring it out. Okay, so those were the movie musicals that I think have a lot to do with hair. Did I miss any? If I did, leave down in the comments below. Are there any other musicals, maybe obscure musicals that maybe I didn't think about? Leave down below. I really love to know. The next category, is actually drag-related movies. And of course, there's a lot of them. So any drag-related movie like To Wong Foo or Priscilla Queen of the Desert, there's tons to do with wigs, okay? But I chose the two that mainly have wig in the title, okay? So that's Wigstock from 1995 and its sequel, Wig, from 2019, okay, on HBO. So Wigstock is basically the documentary about Lady Bunny's counterculture drag explosion festival in New York City that she held from 1994 to 2005, okay, almost 20 years. Okay, going in with Crack On. This sort of crease. There was a drag explosion in the 1990s, okay, and that's when RuPaul became really, really big. We think drag is a really big thing now, but really in the 1990s there was another huge explosion in drag, okay, and in the clubs in New York City, drag was a really, really big thing. A very rounded crease that Tayce seems to like. Lady Bunny and her friends used to throw these drag parties down in the East Village in New York City. Okay, and it used to be a really big thing, okay? People would come and they would have really all sorts of genders, expression and everything, and it was really the LGBT version of Woodstock, what it was basically named after, right? And Wigstock really was, attracted many, many people over the years, okay? And in 2005, I guess they kind of like ran out of funding, ran out of steam, and they had to stop doing it. And it wasn't until 2018 or 2017, when Neil Patrick Harris played Hedwig on Broadway, okay, he got really in touch with the drag community then. Okay, he even got Willem to help him train for the role. Okay, and there he met Lady Bunny and everyone, and he helped to revive Wigstock. Okay? And they had a 1-year revival on a roof of some hotel in 2018. Okay, where it was a festival. I think they went on from morning all the way to night, and they had people from Brooklyn. They had all sorts of amazing performers. People from Drag Race as well performed, and they filmed a documentary on HBO. And yeah, I think you can still watch it on HBO Max called Wig. It was so nice to see. Going back in and just blending that out a little bit with the hood. And now the counterculture drag experience in New York City is actually in Bushwick, okay? It's a Brooklyn drag festival where a lot of these grungy queens perform. And actually Sasha Velour's Night Downs actually probably started around this time, okay, in Brooklyn, and all these really avant-garde new gender performers. I've been to a couple, okay? Yeah, it gets really down and dirty. A lot of nudity, a lot of fluids on stage. Going in with a smaller brush and just going and pack on the black on the outer corner. Okay, yeah, so I hope when we're allowed to start performing again, there'll be more drag festivals in New York City. Now DragCon, I guess, is taking over that role, but it's a bit of a sanitized version, and it's very, very commercial. It's just booths of meeting drag race girls. But the energy is the same, okay? Lady Bunny goes to DragCon all the time. Okay, in fact, Lady Bunny is now hosting a podcast with Monet Exchange called Ebony and Ivory, and you can hear her speak. I really like listening to Lady Bunny speak. She's got a lot of very interesting takes on politics and everything. So I would really check her out, Lady Bunny. Yeah, and of course, I'm not going to go into depth for all the other drag-related film here because it's not really in the theme of this video, but stuff, as I mentioned before, To Wong Foo, Priscilla, Paris is Burning, all these things. So, I would really check those out. Maybe I'll do a whole video on each of them in the future. Okay, I'm just going to go off and fill in these brows, and I'll be back to talk about the next category. Okay. Fill in the brows. I'm going in for a bit of a very natural scruffy brow today, a bit like what Tayce does. I'm going to go in with some shimmer on the lids now. Okay, I'm just going to use Idle Hour from ColourPop. Won't do a cut crease today. Melt that in with the Talk. Okay. And the next category I'm going to talk about now are horror movies. A really good hair-related horror movie just came out basically a couple of years ago called Bad Hair. Okay, Bad Hair is basically a story about a girl, an African-American girl in the 80s who basically was struggling with her hair her whole life. Okay, this is a commentary on how African-American women have to treat their hairs to look acceptable in the workplace. Okay, so she had this nappy hair, very very tight curls, which she had to straighten all the time. So she joins this company, a bit like an MTV company, where she saw that the African women that got ahead rebonded their hair and had weaves and had very nice, acceptable hairstyles. So she goes off and does this, okay? And the weave that she gets from Laverne Cox, amazing cameo, is actually a haunted weave, okay? And starts to mind control her and starts to, you know, kill people and all sorts of crap like that. And Vanessa Williams is also in this movie, playing her boss, who also has one of these haunted weaves. So I think it's, I won't spoil the end, but was a really good commentary on this, and I thought it was a really campy movie done by black people. It really used this stereotype and this kind of a race issue and turned it into a campy horror movie, which is perfect. Okay, a bit like Get Out, okay? But you know, of course, a lot more ridiculous than Get Out. So I would recommend Bad Hair. Do I look like Tayce yet? I've actually been enjoying using this felt tip liner to fill in. It's got a nice straight edge also. So, look at that. Fills it right in. The next horror movie rated hair is called Wig. The Wig, okay? It's a Korean horror movie. I think came out a few years ago. Basically also about a haunted wig that this chemotherapy patient wears. It looks quite gruesome. It does have a little bit of an LGBT theme to it because the hair from the wig, this haunted wig, was actually made by a spurned gay lover of the protagonist's brother. So I think it was quite interesting. Maybe a little bit homophobic, but quite a fun movie, quite gory also. Check out the trailer on the internet. It's not very easy to find, okay, this movie. It's definitely a good mention. Okay, there's a similar horror movie from Japan called Exed, okay, E-X-T-E, about haunted hair extensions. This is very, very B grade and not the best production values, okay, but I think quite fun also. Okay, a couple of honorable mentions here. You know, hair seems to have a very, very it seems to be linked to Asian horror movies quite a lot. You know, Sadako from The Ring, okay, has this really, really long hair. Okay, it maybe is a little bit racist that people see Asian women with really long hair and say, Sadako, Sadako, The Ring, okay, so, you know, don't do that. This whole trope about long hair covering the face being a very, very scary Asian horror movie trope. That's something we need to keep our eye on. Okay, the other movie that has an honorable mention is Junji Ito's Uzumaki. Okay, there's a scene where this girl is possessed by the spiral and her hair becomes all sorts of spirals all over and starts being very, very elaborate spirals. I think that was really cool. So that's an honorable mention. I'm going to clean up these eyes a little bit off camera and I'll be right back to the last category. Finish off those eyes, bronzing a little bit with my Morphe in Trailblazer. So close up the face a little bit, make sure those cheekbones are extra highlighted. Okay, and now I'm going in with my blush. Trying this other KVD blush I got. Is a very purplish blush called Snapdragon. Just put it up here. So this snatches the face up even more. It's a bit cool tone. The lips, Tayce lips are very iconic. Her top lip is much, much bigger than the bottom lip. To start off this lips, I'm going to go in with some of this lip plumper treatment from my friend, Dr. Teo Wan Lin. So for this nude illusion, I want to do a more nudie lip. So I'm going to use my Gerard Cosmetics, give myself more of a butthole lip, I guess, up there. Fill that in a little bit and draw a line down the middle, okay? To make it look like I have a fuller bit there. And the last category of my movies are animation, okay? I love animation. Animation, cartoons, movie cartoons are one of the only things that I'll go to the cinema for, okay? Especially during COVID, I have been watching a lot of animation as well. Hair-related animated movies, of course, Disney's Tangled, right? Tangled is the story of Rapunzel, basically, okay? A long hair that has these life-giving properties, okay? And she's being held captive by Mother Gothel for because she's using this hair to keep herself young. This is actually a story of female empowerment, of how she breaks out from this prison and learns her own strength through her hair, okay? And in the end, she cuts off her hair to look at this brown bob moment, okay? And of course, her love interest, Flynn Rider, was one of my huge crushes when I watched that movie. Okay, this is Jeffree Star in Chrysanthemum, blended in. Got a little lip brush. It's gonna blend this in. Okay, yeah, and so Tangled. And it has a lot of amazing songs as well, such as When Will My Life Begin? And also I See the Light. Okay, a beautiful duet which I would love to sing one day. Flynn Rider and Rapunzel. And of course, it has really cute animal characters too. Maximus the horse is so adorable. And of course, the chameleon Pascal, right? So cute. I'm going to deepen up that contour a little bit with this Hooked, which is a warm shade. Okay, just to accentuate this a little bit. Contour below, make it look a bit fuller. This is a trick I've been doing recently. Another movie musical that has something surprisingly to do with hair is The Croods 2, the sequel to The Croods, okay, which I watched, I think last year. My sister introduced this to me, and there's this whole storyline, the grandmother's hair, which turns out to be a wig. It turns out to be an animal who shaves a day, and the wig's name is Wigasus, this flying furry animal that turns out to be her wig. And another character has this hair which is really untamed. She's supposed to be like this really prim and proper cave person, right? But when she releases this huge mass of hair which has superpowers, and you know, in the end there's this big fight scene, they're all using Wigasus and their hair and everything. So I thought that was quite a fun reference for a hair-related animated movie. Today I think I'll highlight with a little bit of this pink. It brings it forward, makes me look even more Tayce-like. Okay, yeah, so animated movies, they do tend to have this thing where they try to animate the hair, okay? You know, when Frozen came out, they made this whole big deal about how they managed to animate the snow. And when Brave came out, Merida's hair, okay, they made this big deal about how hair was being animated. And the way people animate hair has been quite interesting way that they've advanced algorithms and computing power for animation. For example, in latest Disney's Pixar Soul, the character played by Angela Bassett, Dorothea, the jazz musician, she has this big African-American afro, and the close-ups of it really show how beautiful it is animated. Okay, so as animation gets more advanced, okay, we have all these new things about hair, and I think, you know, for Frozen, apparently the algorithms that they used to do the snow flurries actually was used for a forensics investigator for this scene where all these people died in the snowstorm. So who knows, maybe the computer algorithms that we use to animate hair will come in use in the future. I don't know. But that'd be really cool, wouldn't it? And of course, there's Medusa, okay, the Eternals. She's going to be in a new Eternals movie, and her superpower is hair. Okay, she's got this big hair, which is almost like, you know, whipping around and grabbing people and really, really strong. And of course, there are all these animated shorts as well, okay? Of course, Hair Love won the Oscar for Best Animated Short, I think in 2017 or something like that. Okay, and it's basically also about African-American hair and how this bonds families together. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. I'll put a link down below. Okay, and I was searching through YouTube, and there are tons of other animated movies about hair. Okay, there's this one called Love is in the Hair, which is quite funny, about two fleas living on a bearded lady and a dog. And they're in love. They want to get together, but they can't because they're allergic to each other's hairs. And there's a twist at the end, which is quite funny, also all to do with hair as well, of how they get together. So I'll leave the link down below. Just catch that, all right? All right, so I think I'm done. I'm just going to throw on the finishing touches and the final look, and I'll be right back. And this is the finished look. Do I look more like Tayce or Tempest du Jour? I even got my first problem with this hair. This keeps getting caught in all these jewels. And my nails. So this is the Tayce look from her final runway. It was a nightmare getting into this bodysuit. But this is my video on hair in the movies. I could do a whole other video on hair tropes in the movies, or wigs in the movies, bad wigs on actors in the movies. Sound off in the comment below if you want to see that. And did I miss any other hair related movies? If I did, sound off in the comment below. You know the drill. Alright, so don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and ring that bell for post notifications. Alright, and I'll see you next time. Ooh. Gagatron. Long silky hair. It's all tangled up the back now. Girl, you're so hot like summer, and I don't wonder what Tayce or Kimora Black.
No one can do it like you. Girl, you're so hot like summer.
Should spray blood on my face or something, right?
Here's what you do. No one can do it like you.
Alright, check out my other videos. I did a hair 101 there, okay, talking about hair biology and diseases, and I also styled a wig on camera there. And there's a giveaway for that, don't forget. Alright, check it out. Bye.